Way back into the distant past, when Pete was like 15, he joined a mail-in movie club, 11 takes for pennies. And now cut to 2025, the movie club caught on to Pete's life, and now they want to punish him, so they trapped him in a room with a bunch of movie tapes. Pete didn't want to pay for the movies he got in the 90s. He'll have to watch random horror tapes and tell us about gore and probably some rape. Now keep in mind, Pete didn't pick. They use random numbers and a long list. He's got to get through every movie, one each day for the time we can't foresee. Helpful snowman roll call. Anxiety. Grouchiness, entropy, snow. If you're wondering why he did this song and other FAQ facts, just shut up and listen to this show, or fuck it, take a nice nap. It's Helpful Snowman Podoween 2025.
Oh my God, we did it. The final movie, Sector 04. This is a short 5-minute long found footage movie. A lady crashes her car in what's apparently some kind of nuclear testing site, where everyone who lives there is like fucked up from radiation and shit. And that's about it. And now I'm done. I get to leave the dungeon. Oh, this is amazing. While I'm making my way downtown, I'm just going to do a little recapping of this month of torture. And, well, it sucked. You know, Sturgeon's Law tells us 90% of everything is crud. That was the word, crud. I had always heard crap, but apparently it was crud, which at one time I would have thought was a downgrade, like crap is worse than crud, but maybe crud is worse than crap. I feel like crud could be at the sewage treatment plant. I feel like crud could encompass crap, but crap doesn't necessarily encompass crud. Anyway, Theodore Sturgeon said this in response to people saying that sci-fi writing was garbage, and they would always use the worst examples of sci-fi writing to prove their point, right? As if sci-fi was the only thing that had bad versions of it. And so he started, instead of defending sci-fi writing, he just said, yeah, I mean, 90% of it is crud, as is 90% of everything. So there you go. And it's like, yeah, he's not wrong. Let's see. Okay, there's a sign on the wall that says I go this way? Up this spiral staircase. I don't know, I kind of hoped I'd find some hidden gems this month, but I don't know if I could say I did. Danger USA or Mine Trap or whatever that was called, that was fun in a bad movie way. And like, if everything had been on that level, I think I would have had a pretty good time this month. But, you know, I know that's not what Columbia House intended for me, so they're probably happier that that was a high point. Bikini Man would probably be the movie I'd most likely recommend legitimately to someone. Like, I would watch that. Or, like, I would watch another movie that filmmaker made. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. It's worth a watch. It's a fun horror comedy. And I'm definitely giving it the Podoween Columbia House Movie Torture Dungeon Award of Excellence-ishness for this year, which is an award I hopefully will never have to give again. And what about the rest? I mean, without denigrating the efforts of some amateur filmmakers without access to resources, I mean, the rest of this month I definitely could have done without, you know? I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was one of my bigger disappointments. Like, you hear so much. This is like a franchise that I feel like is sort of tries to push its way amongst, you know, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface's in there. But man, these movies just are not for me. You know what I mean? And to have that many resources, like, it's a real movie. And to make something that was less compelling than like the Alien movie short that someone made with like a shoestring budget and maybe like 2 actors, not awesome. You know what I mean? To make something that is less watchable, not impressed. Toxic Retards was definitely the weirdest thing I watched. I mean, it was almost a documentary of a crazy person's mind, and it was like genuinely disturbing in a way. And also the Wi-Fi kept cutting out while I watched it, which by which I mean the VCR. And it kept stopping and pausing, and that made it extra torturous, right? Because, like, you know, when things were tough, when watching a movie was tough this month, I could just, like, sort of console myself by being like, time is passing at the same rate it always passes. It's a constant. And all I have to do is endure. You know what I mean? If I can just continue to sit here and look at this screen and listen to the things that are coming from it, this will eventually pass. But when the tape keeps getting fucked up and it keeps pausing and stuff, and I have to mess around with it a little bit, that's no longer true. A 90-minute movie could take 4 hours. And so, like, Toxic Retards had a way of breaking down my one thing that I was using to convince myself that everything was okay. I mean, it probably was the worst thing I watched, just in terms of production value and, like, yeah, I don't know. That is probably the worst. I mean, Female Vampire was pretty bad. It was pretty hard to watch. It was pretty shitty, but it did have nudity in it. And, well, so did Toxic Retards. But, you know, this was mostly in focus nudity in Female Vampire. Not entirely, but mostly. Oh, here we go. The top of the stairs here, it opens into this big hallway. Walking past some other cells. It's like a long row of cells. And there's so many floors of cells stacked on top of each other. It's like a terrible spreadsheet someone printed out and can't be, you know, you can't commit it to paper. It's got so many cells. Oh, it looks like this is where they keep all the music club people who backed out on their deals. Oh my God. Like, I can't even see where this row of cells ends. You know, I look down the hall and I can't see the end. I look up and I can't see the top block. It's this many people in here? Holy shit. In each cell I pass, there's someone in it with headphones on crying, with like a random selection of CDs around them on the floor. Man, these Columbia House guys are really pissed that so many of us didn't follow through on those penny-based deals. Anyway, going into this, I guess, you know, I thought Batman and Robin was one of the worst movies I'd ever seen. And you know what? I mean, on some level, it is. Because, like, I would rather watch Batman and Robin before watching several of this month's movies. I will say that. Like, Batman and Robin, for its flaws, is, like, mostly coherent. It's dumb. There are ways it doesn't make sense in dumb ways, but, like, you know what's happening. You know what I mean? I know who... I'm never looking at the screen and I'm like, who the hell is that? Or, like, what are they doing? Or where are they going? Or, like, why is this happening? But I will say this, though. It's like Batman and Robin is still one of the worst movies, just because if you compare the amount of resources that went into this and the amount of competent people who worked on this, and it's like, well, you've got real actors, you've got like a real director, you've got real writers, it's a real movie studio. It looks like an expensive movie to me. I mean, it's in some ways it looks very cheap when you have a wobbling icicle. That doesn't inspire confidence, but you know, my point is, like, they had a lot. They had everything at their disposal and they threw it away. Whereas a lot of the movies I've seen this month had nothing. So, you know, they made something of nothing, and that's a little more impressive to me than making nothing of something. Oh, let's see. Here's another set of stairs, but there's also an elevator. Let's just see if this elevator will take me instead the rest of the way up, so I don't have to walk so far. I definitely figured some things out. Some things I don't like about horror movies through all of this. You know, like some of the tropes that I really don't like. Personal taste type stuff mostly. But like, one thing is I'll definitely take an overstuffed horror movie over an understuffed horror movie any day. I mean, an example of an overstuffed horror movie is probably the movie Dead Alive or Brain Dead. Peter Jackson, I think, made it. That's one that comes to mind to me as overstuffed. But like, there's so much shit going on in that movie, and it's a bit much, but it's not boring. And the boredom for me is hard to take. I don't mind a movie that's a slow burn, but like a slow burn is still a burn. There's still something is happening, or we're building to something. Whereas like a movie that's just slow, I feel like it's not that it takes a while. I'm not complaining about The Shining or something. I'm complaining about a movie where I'm like, we're just watching people talk about nothing horror related, and they're not even aware there's a horror happening until the last 10 minutes. Your hashtag horrors and whatnot. Another one is, I think a lot of horror movies, like especially amateur ones, could get going a lot faster than they do. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a genre that's devoted to reaching feature-length runtime and probably blows its budget and other things with a few short portions of it, which I understand that, but like, I think most people who watch these sorts of movies would be like happier with a 50-minute movie. You know what I mean? Than a 90-minute movie, especially now. I understand back in the day it was like you couldn't put a 40-minute movie in the theaters, but you can put it online or do whatever with it today. It'll show up on Amazon Prime just fine. So like, I see no reason to make, and this applies to any kind of movie, a studio movie or whatever, is like, if you have a 50-minute movie, make a 50-minute movie, man. Don't make it 90. It's something that I used to hear people argue about a lot, right? But for me, even back in the day, it's like, I don't know, like the argument has kind of left, because getting your money's worth out of a movie that you're streaming online, it's like, well, it's basically how many hours of streaming did you do this month versus how much you paid this month. That's the math. It's not really about like how many movies did you watch. It's more like how much time did you spend. So if you watch two 50-minute movies that are both good, that's exactly the same as watching one full-length movie that's, good, I guess. But even back in the day, like, I never felt ripped off by this stuff. Like, I don't know, an album that's a little short, I remember Weezer's Green album came out and people were complaining because I think it's like maybe 40 minutes long, maybe even a little less. But like, I don't feel ripped off from that because it's like, they had several hits from it. You know what I mean? Or like a video game that's short but really good. You know what I mean? I feel like if you have a short album and you try to lengthen it artificially, it's going to be crap, right? People have this idea in their head of like, well, I want a longer album, but what they're really thinking is, I want a longer album that's comprised of songs of the same quality that are in here. Or like, I want a video game that's longer. I want more of this. But what they're going to get, that's not what they're going to get, right? You're going to get filler songs, and in a video game, you're going to get a turret section, or like some other game element that's added in that's like, oh, you got to walk all the way back to the beginning of the game in order to get this thing, and then you can go to the end, and that's how you know what I mean? That's how they're going to lengthen it. I've just always been, I guess, a quality, not a quantity guy. And like, if a book is fun to read and it only takes 2 hours, that's fine. You know what I mean? I don't pay for these stories and things to keep me entertained for a specific amount of time. Like, I kind of want to reach a certain level of good time as opposed to a quantity of time, just because I think the era we live in now, there's so much stuff. It's so easy to access so much stuff. I don't need one thing to take up a certain amount of my time. You ever get in an elevator and you get this weird, like, vertigo feeling that it's going down instead of up? This is kind of weird. Maybe I'll just push all these buttons and see what happens. Maybe what happens if I push this phone button?
It's the best part of the day. You put all your cares away. Get ready for a smile on your face. It's just the right time and just the right place.
for special Columbia House offers this month in selected magazines, newspapers, and your mail.
Jesus, that is some kind of jingle. People went really hard back in the day. Like, you know, the guy singing this, Columbia House. That guy was giving it his all. Huh. Starting to smell something. It's like it's a good smell. Actually pretty amazing. It's like a popcorn smell. Oh, here we go. Doors open, but this doesn't look right. This isn't the surface. I mean, it's not... I'm not in a dungeon anymore. Actually, it kind of looks like a movie theater. Guess that explains the popcorn smell. Oh, it's the tall man.
Greetings, Pete.
Oh, hey, tall man.
On our way out, are we?
Yep, I did it. Finished the punishment, 31 days, 31 movies, all set. I think we're square.
Oh, maybe count again.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Mind trap. Something. I mean, okay. Obviously, you think I've counted wrong, so maybe this is faster if you just tell me how I counted wrong?
That's right. If you remember, you did a podcast on October 1st, but you didn't watch a movie that day, which means you still owe us one more film.
No! I mean, this is kind of convenient for Patreon subscription stuff, but no!
Yes. And after observing you, we decided the best movie to finish with would be a Carl J. Sukenik movie.
Oh, God. Not the same Carl Sukenik who did Toxic Retards. I mean, it's probably him, right? Like, it's not the most common name.
Exactly right. It's exactly him. It's not the most common name and far from the most common kind of film. So, you will finish the month with Alien Beasts from 1991. 74 minutes of stuff.
I see. And I guess I'll have to then tape myself watching it and do a sort of live commentary on it.
Sure, if that's how Patreon works. I don't know anything about that. I'm more a subscriber to nudity-based subscription sites, if you know what I mean.
Yep, got it.
OnlyFans. That's what I subscribe to.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
I can tell you about some of the specifics.
No thanks. I'm gonna just make my way into the theater and watch the movie then.
Are you sure? I mean, there are some accounts that feature very attractive women, but the content is just so-so. Whereas others might not be as strongly in your wheelhouse right off, but they do really come alive in their posted.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head on in then.
Oh, sure. All right. See you later. Have fun.
It's helpful Snowman Podoween 2025.